There are errors you commit at a particular time, you go scot-free. But there are some errors you commit at a particular time, you won't go scot-free. There are things you say at a particular season, it won't affect your life. But at a particular season, it will affect you. And it can change the course of your life. So the enemy ways to hang around prophetic junction of your life. If Joseph has slept with Potiphar, no throne for him. Because the prophetic agenda of his life is loyalty. Trust is what rules his prophetic code. If he breaks somebody's trust, he's in trouble. Mamenka netwi ne wura umu abrabo nya afekubo enunti na enuafo omunwu the same way enamfofo omunwu the same way. Abrabo ne eye totally different as to everybody. Tina twins ba ku koja ba bet mase enso abrabo nse. Every destiny is made up of an untouchable component. That is the prophetic dimension. Every destiny. There is a prophetic dimension that reveals itself in a natural way. That sometimes you, the character playing out in that destiny, may not even be aware. But the supernatural entities around you know that this part is not natural. It is prophetic. So realize that where Jesus was born, his father had an option and started running to hotels and running to whatever to find a place where Mary can sleep. But giving birth in a manger was the prophetic dimension. If she misses that, it will affect the manifestation of his life, because he's a shepherd over sheep. So he must be born among sheep. Number two, he's the Lamb of God that must be the sacrifice of the world. So he is not different from the sheep. So this man must not be born among men. He must be born among sheep, because his destiny is a little twisted from how men's destinies are. He is carrying the destiny of a lamb, so he must be born in a lamb. If there was a twist, it would have affected something about his life. And sometimes how the enemy attacks. The enemy does not attack the casualties of your life, the casual stuff. No, he attacks the prophetic dimension, so that where you must be for something to happen, he makes sure you are not there. It's not everything about your life that is prophetic. There are components that are prophetic, and he waits for that chance to affect you. So there are certain timings and seasons it's prophetic, but there are errors you commit at a particular time, you go scot-free. But there are some errors you commit at a particular time, you won't go scot-free. There are things you say at a particular season, it won't affect your life, but at a particular season it will affect you, and it can change the course of your life. So the enemy ways to hang around prophetic junction of your life that he knows. Judas has been stealing, but when you begin, he has been covetous. When we are sikasa, but oko riesika now kopesika at the season Jesus must die. It can change everything about your life. So that 30 pieces, and yes, no ria de bia, but this time no oko pen at the wrong time. That season Judas udosika se engodoska ukodosika pe. Jesus himself called him a thief. He has been stealing more than 30 pieces, but a particular season ukodo sika broswa Judas umfa unida ada sika okowie nyina o de hwe wabusia for bibia akoso. But this particular time, it is too sensitive for humans. Ukodo sika ube udo nkwa betwaso ampa wodinin kwetwaso, because he didn't understand the prophetic agenda of his time at that time. Oh, and your boy abrabo anyhow. Thinking said the be a fire ready, but the devil always wait for you at a particular prophetic time. Oh, he prepare, and one you are going off. If you make a mistake, is it that time? If you have anything to say, is it that time that your father is in depression? Is it the time you want to make a mistake? You know the depression Noah was going through. He would turn his eyes and the world has ended. How does he start life? If you see a man drunk, there is a reason. Is that the time you go and make a mistake? And a man changed the course of his destiny overnight because he touched somebody that was not in the right frame of mind. You have to choose your battle wisely. There are people you can fight, but you must know when to fight. There are people you can stand up to, but know when to stand up to. Don't stand up to a time where their minds are already dead. They will use everything they have as an advantage over you, kill you like you are an animal. And Noah looked into his own son's face and said, you will be servants of servants. Didn't you feel pain raising him? Didn't you spend any investment on the boy? At the man's mind, there was something going on. So deep, so deep. What has just happened? The whole world is just gone. My friends are gone. My family is gone. Only my children around me. my siblings, my parents, everybody gone over a night. How do I start? For him to boost himself, it means something is going on. You should know when to withdraw from certain people and when to come close to fool. The man didn't understand that the prophetic agenda of his life was at stake at that time. There will be servants of servants, and that settled it. More than 1,000 years later, they became servants of servants. He said Ham will serve Shem. Abraham came from Shem. Canaanites came from Ham. Abraham's descendants, who are Shem's descendants, went to be servants in Egypt. They came back to take over Canaan and rule over Canaan. So they came back as servants, and then the Canaanites became servants to servants. More than over 1,000 years, prophecy came to pass. A prophetic agenda was altered because a young man made a mistake playing around an old man. Last time I was talking to you about blessing, and I was telling you the blessing of the aged, the ancient. Don't joke with it. You can alter your prophetic agenda by messing around the aged. Stand up in the presence of the elderly and show respect for the aged. Fear your God. I am the Lord. Wait, stand up in the presence of the elderly and show respect for the aged. That means if anybody is an elder over you, when he shows up, God expects you to stand up. That means it's an error. A young person to sit for an elderly to stand and speak to him is an error. But this time you try it, and then when you see an elderly person stand, you say this is human worship. You don't even know our Bible. Stand up in the presence of the elderly and show respect for the aged. And he told you what you should do for God. Fear your God, but respect the elderly. Fear your God, respect your elderly. So anywhere you show up, give God fear, give respect to the elderly. And the man altered the prophetic agenda of his life because he didn't know how to manage the elderly. And same way I make a pray. Altered a prophetic agenda. An enemy followed us gradually to make sure it is done. Hurt somebody who is an elderly person. You deceive an elderly person. You steal from an elderly person. You attack an elderly person. You insult him behind his back. You do things you didn't. So you are altering the prophetic agenda of your life. And very soon it will reveal that you will end up empty in life. Everything will beat you. Everything will beat you. Be bearable. One of the signs that you have offended an elderly is when you live an empty life and everything comes against you and win. Check it. You may have offended an aged man or woman. Turn back. Some of them are very, very troublesome. Treat them with silence. Treat them with silence. But to fight them back, hit them, push your mother, push your father, do that. Listen to me. Prayer is warfare, and also knowledge is warfare. If I don't show you these things, you create the battle and come and pray for nothing. But you could have prevented the battle. If Joseph has slept with Potiphar, no throne for him. Because the prophetic agenda of his life is loyalty. Trust is what rules his prophetic code. If he breaks somebody's trust, he's in trouble. So you have to be a prime minister, you have to be a ruler. A whole nation's food must be in your hands. You must be trustworthy. So such a person, you cannot play around loyalty and disloyalty. You will crash. You end up not ascending your throne. He was offered everything from Potiphar's house, and it was the first test because he must take charge of Pharaoh's house. And before you take out charge of Pharaoh's house, you must be faithful in Potiphar's house. Every one of us have a prophetic code, and Satan will come after it. Samson could have sex anyhow. His prophetic code is not in sex. But the day his prophetic code was opened up, is secrecy. Secrecy. It's not even here. Secrecy. Ability to hide. You are a Nazarite. Ability to hide what is between only you and God. If you expose it, you are finished. That's why for many years the message of his life was not that his hair. The message of his life was, let's find the secret of his strength. Secrecy was their prophetic code. If you break it, you are finished. And the man beautifully broke it. Abandon and son namne husa or doban and also what is the secret of your strength? One way he appeared, he died. When I say these things, I'm trying to help somebody You should know the prophetic code of your life. What others are doing, you won't join, because you know that what others do to survive, you may not do to survive. You should know, because everybody's destiny has a code. Mamenka netri ne ura umu abrabonya fekubo enunti na enuafo omunwu the same way, enamfofo omunwu the same way. Abrabone eye totally different as to everybody. Tina twins ba ku koja ba betima se enso abrabon se ohwene ne mehwene betima yepe nanso ni ebeto ya home ye different. Abrabon se, so you should be able to stand and know that it is about me and my God. And I will pray to the Lord, show me the code of my life, and I will play by it. Obiwa, you cannot afford to be proud. There are some of you just cannot afford to be proud, because the code of your rising is your humility. Everybody like you because you are humble. The day you want to lift your shoulders like a friend is lifting his shoulders, that is the day you start going down. So Samson can go and have sex and survive, but Joseph can't have sex and survive. Yes, Christ Bible say John enidi wan shatare pa mosi owo sumsumboni nsumba meshi didi me shatare pa Yesu Kristo kodidi e ko yet say John e bia gon for fele ko wilderness ka kra bi de fa na ni so na John atina ho close to 30 years dan so ko ka kra bi o 40 days be na de ko hu ye when si ho me papa si ho bi mo try 40 days pe wo when si ho bi no no ade o hu ye and so na John tell don't now wilderness wa ko si so we obi ane ne shebre nkodi mati nkoya medie me medi wati nkoya ode na ma mewu ma wani mbre na kokon ne ba ho na kowani na sonson wo ho na ka kire wo ho se medie me ja tinka bi wo me mu se amanfo success me ko ye bia emwa, because probably you are a holiness preacher, you carry a mantle ko ye bia emwa amanfo stubbornness mu bi mu ko ye bia emwa obitimi ka se me kwala sorry and so my young kwasi aseme mabi ni shabre no de enyepe bia wo shabre ye die mu edu a de behwe nipa en awrade akasa ye die na efa o mamu na eba nti obi ka se me bu afo me ma ho ntu nkokitimi nkoka bio because ni shabre no shabre enyepe Phinehas eni ni abema e ka se yen asori dem a ye metna Samuel wuntimi nkebi o mo ka se ya asori dem a ye na ye befa aduane kokeke. Now also Samuel could say, wow, mehunu Eli ma Charlie, these are the young men in town. These are the young men in town. Mami could do me to omuni the click a mani filium because Bible say no money mani da. And also can be say mani filium menu mu me so me could try no mu click ni bi because here near the feeling boys in town. Samuel, your destiny will cut off. Samuel who na brabono or shall so ye doom light. Bible say the lamp went off into no light. So not Samuel dasumnim. Onon kwa wan complain da sa den na Eli unfo bi mekame onon kwa no da ho ni shebre no o bibi ka kire no ni mu se wo koda hotel Radema wo koda fie Radema aje wo da dem ha enti hwe obi wo ho a asori dem da ye ni ngwase obi nso wo ho asori dem da ye shebre kunu de e bia you are Samuel of our time enti wo adekunta wo ni ska de be rent e na wo da asori dem enye bibia o ese wo da ho wo shebre enti. And he said, no, so I down for be a share. I say, hey, and then me got a sram you mean in what demo. And I said, now so Jenny won't say, I saw them up, I made the girl up. I saw them up, I made the girl up. Oh, shebre. Anything he has more. And your pet, Samuel. One Radia Shisha will say, bedroom maybe when Numa Samon Toffle. Into baby, and would that be different from baby at their car? Umanuma Sem. And so baby, and you know better. We shall be different. Free you have altered the prophetic agenda. Where you work now, it's not for salary, it's for a prophetic agenda. There are people God gives them job for salary, and there are some people God gives them job for a prophetic agenda. If yours is for a prophetic agenda, you can't rush and go if a salary increase has not come. You should understand the prophetic agendas. I'm telling you. There are some people, the reason why you are not married now, it's not delay, it's a prophetic agenda. Rush your way out, you'll miss something. I pray for you. You won't miss the glory of your days. Every attack on your prophetic agenda, I command it to backfire now. I command it to scatter now. I command it to scatter now. I command it to scatter now.